week 10 in the NFL.
Crazy.
17 weeks in the NFL. That means we're at the halfway point of this NFL season. Some have played 8, some have played 9. There's 17. Bottom line is it's halfway.
Boom.
So what we're going to do is we're going to give out mid-season awards. Because, again, the Associated Press still thinks that I'm not allowed to vote in any awards. So
what's going to happen first? That you get a vote for the award, or you get on the competition committee?
I would say competition committee, because it's possible that somebody at the NFL decides that I do speak for the fans. Mm-hmm. And, if I squeaky wheel it enough, I might be able to do that. Might be able to. I'm saying there's a Dumb and Dumber chance for that.
Yeah. They should actually have a true fan in that spot. Not that you're not, but
No, but again, the Associated Press.
Professional.
But the Associated Press thinks that because I'm an NFL employee, I will be biased, or I will be told that I need to do something, and I will then follow that, and then I will choose for the wrong person.
People, for some reason, always think you get told what to say, which is not.
Right. Although, if I'm not mistaken, one year they did give a vote to somebody who refused to give it to Aaron Rodgers because he didn't get vaccinated and thought he was a bad teammate.
Oh, that's right.
Which, by the way, this has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, are you the MVP of your team or are you not?
Tom Brady should have been MVP that year anyway.
Well, I mean, you can make that argument, but the fact that, whatever. Long story short is we're giving out mid-season awards, everybody. Chris Brockman, you're going to go first.
Okay.
And you're going to unpack all of the awards.
All of mine, okay.
There's 4 awards.
All right, what's
there's
first up?
3 awards and then an opportunity.
Yes, opportunity.
The 3 awards are Offensive Player of the Year, then the Coach of the Year, then the Most Valuable Player of the Year, obviously. And then we're going to give you a chance to mulligan your Super Bowl pick. So give me your 3, and then I'll set you up for your Super Bowl mulligan if you choose to.
Offensive Player of the Year first. Look, I know you guys are probably just going to say it's the guy who played last night, who scored a touchdown again, Derrick Henry. But he also is playing with a superior player, and they have a great team. I'm going with another running back that went to a new team and has made an unbelievable impact. I'm going with Saquon Barkley. Look, Jalen Hurts hasn't been all that great for the majority of the season. The last couple weeks, he's looked good. A.J. Brown has only played in 4 games. Devontae Smith has been injured. Dallas Goedert has been injured. Jason Kelsey retired. So they have been the less than for a majority of the year than they've been full strength, and Saquon has been awesome. Second in the league in rushing, second in the league in rushing yards, first in the league in total yards per game. The dude is awesome. I'm down with Saquon Barkley. He's my Offensive Player of the Year.
All right. What was your Coach of the Year?
Coach of the Year, I'm going to Pittsburgh. I'm going to Mike Tomlin. What this guy has done.
Okay.
The quarterback situation coming to the year. Look, it's not great. When you have 2, you don't have 1, and he has made it work. Won games with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and then was like, screw it, I'm going to Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson has done nothing but win games. The way he's handled it, it's high on his damn agenda, and I'm down with Mike Tomlin, Coach of the Year.
I like it.
MVP, I'm going with a guy who lost his number 1 target, doesn't really have a true number 1 running back. Everyone wondered what they're going to look like. We didn't pick them to win their division, and all Josh Allen does is win and rack up stats. He's not turning the ball over. He's making plays all over the field. He's throwing at the guys we've never even heard of. I'm going with Josh Allen as MVP.
All right, and your Super Bowl pick prior to the season, Christopher?
Prior to the season, it was Packers over Texans. I liked it. I went off the board.
You now have an opportunity to mulligan this selection. On NFL Game Day morning, we use the Thanksgiving shows to offer mulligans, and then also the top of the playoffs before a single playoff game is played. We'll do the same on this show for the playoffs.
Great.
But for the moment, we'll use the midseason awards that mean nothing except to us as an opportunity to offer you a mulligan. Will you accept it?
Absolutely. 100% I'm taking the mulligan.
And you're on who now?
Lions over Ravens.
Lions over Ravens. So Packers out, Lions in. Texans out, Ravens in.
Correct.
Lions over Ravens.
Yeah.
TJ Jefferson, your midseason award, starting with your Offensive Player of the Year, is who?
I just want to say this. Jamar Chase is balling right now, as we said. 66 catches, 981 yards, 10 touchdowns. I'd love to give it to him, but Derrick Henry and what he's doing, I got to say that he's the offensive player of the year. 1,120 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns. He's giving them a force that they haven't had in Lamar's era, and I think he could be the difference.
Okay, so he's your offensive player of the
my
year.
Offensive player of the year.
Who is your coach of the year?
This might surprise you, knowing how I feel about this team. But if you also know how I felt about this person when I had him on my team, it might not. DQ. Dan Quinn, 7-2 Washington. Look what they're doing there. Nobody could have seen this coming, right? Not with Jane Daniels, not with Terry McLaurin. I mean, I hate to admit it, but the Washington football team is great right now. And it's my worst nightmare.
The Commanders.
The Washington football team. That's what I said.
It's the Commanders.
Yeah.
But coach of the year, Dan Quinn.
DQ.
Quinn.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, that's a good one.
No, it is a good one.
MVP. Last night, I saw 53 men take a football field looking like Crown Royal bags. Now, if you think I'm joking, look at a Crown Royal bag and look at the Ravens uniforms last night.
Their
they were
kit.
53 Crown Royal bags
Helmet
putting
was
in.
tight.
Look at that. Am I lying? Tell me, stop me when I'm lying.
That's good.
That
It
helmet
looks
was
like a
tight,
Crown Royal bag,
It
okay?
does.
Right?
Yeah, I like it. That's a good one.
Lamar, come on, man. 2,600 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, only 2 picks. I'm giving it to him one more time. Why not?
Okay. Now, your preseason Super Bowl selection was, let me make sure I've got this right.
Yeah.
In need of a fix. Your preseason Super Bowl selection was Cowboys over Chiefs, correct?
It was, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you care to utilize your mulligan?
Double
on
down.
that?
I would.
Okay. And so who are you double down?
Double down.
Who are you replacing, TJ?
Well, I no longer
Both?
believe.
Are you replacing both?
I no longer believe in the Chiefs, so I'm going to say I do believe in the Chiefs.
Okay.
I have the Crown Royal Ravens
Okay, so your Chiefs
Oh.
out, Ravens in.
defeating the Dallas. No, I'm just joking. Ravens over the Detroit Lions.
Okay. So you've got the Ravens over the Lions.
Oh, okay.
Providing, can I have an asterisk? They got to have the Crown Royal jerseys on. If they don't,
I doubt though they would do
Well,
that in the Super Bowl.
well, then
By the way, the Crown Royal jerseys, that's a funny poll right there. So you went Lions over Ravens,
I did,
Chris,
yeah,
in
I
your
did.
mulligan.
Yep.
TJ went Ravens over Lions. You taking the Chiefs out. Okay. Here we go. I've got my my choices. My offensive player of the year. I appreciate, Chris, you saying that my choice and also TJ's choice is just the obvious choice. And you went in a bit of a zigzag to Saquon Barkley instead of Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
But I will say this about what Derrick Henry is doing in terms of scoring a touchdown in each game, in terms of offering the balance to an attack that is putting up more points and more yards per game at a certain clip than any team has in the Super Bowl era. There is a give and take, and there's also complementary football on the offensive side, and he is providing that balance. But Derrick Henry is also an avatar, and I used that word with him when we chatted. He is an avatar when we chatted in the spring. An avatar for anybody out there who thinks a 30-year-old running back is going to show diminishing returns. This guy turns 30 in January. What he is doing is exactly what teams are supposed to, or what running backs are not supposed to do as they're getting towards 30. He is playing in a way that makes teams that think 30-year-old running backs aren't all that absolutely look foolish for not chasing this guy down when he was a free agent in the offseason. He is an offensive player of the year, but more importantly, he is staking a claim for a much maligned position at a certain age, and his man in his mid-50s. I love what you're doing right now as a man about to become a 30-something. Well done, Derrick Henry. You're my offensive player of the year at the halfway point. Sometimes you just got to go. Listen, I appreciate, you know how much I love Tomlin. And you going with Tomlin for Coach of the Year. And Dan Quinn with his hat backwards and everything like that. Mr. New Jersey doing what he's doing for the Washington Commanders, even though you refuse to call them that.
I don't know that name.
Sometimes you just got to go with the obvious. And you got to go with the head coach of the Detroit Lions. And Dan Campbell is doing that. I do not ascribe to the, well, he's got two great coordinators and all he's doing is rolling the footballs out. What he is doing is leading by example. What he is doing is setting an agenda. What he is doing is setting a standard. What he is doing is setting an attitude that everybody brings to the table every single time they practice and every single time that they play. Aiden Hutchinson goes out. Nobody was hanging their heads in that game or since. Every single team that plays the Detroit Lions, not only since week 2, has lost, but they've gone ahead and lost the following week as well. And that streak is only going to be broken up this week because the team they eviscerated last week has a bye this week in the Green Bay Packers. I love what Dan Campbell is cooking up, and he deserves Coach of the Year honors, certainly since a lot of people look at him and still think his Hannibal Lecter-type speech to launch his moment in Detroit still is exactly the reason why we should judge him by that cover. Not at all. He's Coach of the Year. The MVP is also simple, and I thought it was Jared Goff, and he's playing like one. Lamar Jackson is the MVP of this league, 100%. And I know he's got an Offensive Player of the Year in his backfield, standing right next to him. He's doing stuff that you just don't see anybody else doing, and he has got a passer rating, and I understand that that's difficult to understand. I don't really understand what goes into it either. It's just bottom line is when you got a great one, you're great. And he's got the greatest one in a single season at this point in the history of the National Football League. Lamar Jackson's my most valuable player. But here's the most valuable thing about this segment, especially since the two people before me chose to use their mulligans on their Super Bowl picks, because you guys didn't have the foresight. You're not the three-eyed raven of this show. I am. And I had vision prior to the season. I saw what we're seeing playing out. I saw the Kansas City Chiefs not having a Super Bowl hangover. I saw the Detroit Lions ascending to the position of the clear favorites in the National Football Conference. I saw the Chiefs and the Lions facing one another in the Super Bowl. And I see a three-peat in the future for the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys take your mulligans, enjoy them. I'm glad you got them. I can only hope that you are understanding the foresight rests here, and my Super Bowl prediction stays like a before.
The rent stays like a before.
Chiefs over Lions.
Jeez.
It is on, and it's still on, and I'm not getting off this.
Okay.
And that's the way I wrap up this very segment here from Munich, Germany. What? What?
I mean, he just totally disrespected our picks.
How did I disrespect your picks? I respect the fact that
We
you
took
had
the
an opportunity.
Lions also.
Yeah,
No.
all of us had the Lions.
Yeah, you weren't on them before.
Well, look, I picked the Cowboys. That's a little bit of a,
Tad, chalk is boring.
Listen, I'm just saying, I respect you seeing the mulligan opportunity and taking
I took it.
Yeah, you gave it to us.
Some of us don't need it because we have clear foresight.
Three-eyed
We
raven.
are sooths. Don't worry. Not all of us have to be here on the show. There's a reason why my name's on this mic flag.
I mean, that's a good point.
know?
But the disrespect to call up a Raven and then not pick the Ravens, like that's kind of weird to me.
No,
that's where you were
those
going.
are two-eyed ravens. I'm the three-eyed raven.
Crown Royal.
Crown Royal bag. Well, great pull. I'm not saying, by the way, I love your Tomlin pick. Love your Dan Quinn pick. I like my picks. They're my picks, including the one that I don't have to change.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.